Impact Speaker Academy family. I'm excited to be here. This is my first time broadcasting in an Airbnb. Like, wow, like I feel special. If you happen to be looking at this recording and looking at the video, yes, as you can see, this is not grandma's basement. This is Peter's basement. Shout out to Peter, my first Airbnb host. But tonight is our monthly mastermind call. We do more encouragement. We learn from each other. We learn our wins. We learn our challenges, and we learn possible solutions to those challenges. So I just want to start off. I know whenever going through the speaking thing, wow, what was that? Sorry, hope I didn't break anything. That would be bad. But anyway, the speaking business is rough, and that's one thing that I often tell people, that it's hard, but you can do it. And that's one of the things I think that having this group to see from people like me, that I'm just a regular dude, and I'm just out here trying to do it just like everybody else. But I've kind of put together a system and put together some processes that have worked for me. So I just want to get some wins. I know we got Raquel on the call. I saw Gio come on. As you come on, just share any wins that you have, anything that's been working for you. We'll start with the lady in the house, Miss Raquel. What wins you got?
Well, it's not 100% official, but I have.
Don't qualify the wins.
Okay, so I had a teacher reach out to me, and this teacher connected with me on Facebook because she saw me present during a workshop in Orlando at a girls bullying conference, and it was about 2 years ago. And I really didn't get any leads from that conference. So in my head, it was like, not a loss, but it's like, okay, nothing came from it. But 2 years later, like this week, she messaged me via Facebook, and she said that she had mentioned me to her principal and that she wanted to talk to me about possibly coming in to speak to her students. So when we spoke on the phone, she said to me that she has been using the activity that I did with her and the rest of my audience when we were at that conference. She's been using it with her students, and she remembered me, and she thought I'd be a really good fit for helping them to kick off their back to school. So I sent her and the principal information, pricing, etc., and hopefully we can solidify the details sooner than later. So.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good job. That's good. And I'm glad that you shared that, because a lot of times when we go to those conferences, conferences are one of the main strategies that we talk about within our group. Going to conferences, it's important to show up and show out. And so for those watching, make sure that you check out the list of conferences that we have, in your media library. But with Raquel sharing that, I hope she spoke and didn't get any leads. Like, she thought, not going to get any, but she showed up. And if I'm not mistaken, Raquel, didn't that person, you said that person saw something you posted on Facebook or something like that? Are you connected with her? Talk about that.
Yeah, I went out to Canva and I created like a little flyer with a couple pictures, and it was, just kind of saying, hey, let's connect, let's collaborate, and let's kick off, a special event for the fall, because I know that there are people connected with me on Facebook that could possibly hire me. And this teacher mentioned that when she saw that thing that I posted that kind of triggered her memory, And she mentioned it to her principal. And that was my first time doing it. So I think I'm going to do it. I am going to do it more often going forward, just letting people know what I do, because that's my first time doing it. I've never really done it in the past.
Yeah, that matters. Every season where I think the number in my head, I have to have at least like 10 dates on the calendar. I will share an image and it'll show the dates and places that I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
And that helps because it's kind of like a billboard. It's something that people continually see. And I always get comments from people that don't like anything. They'll see me offline and they say, "Oh man, your calendar. I saw your post on Instagram." It's like, you didn't like it, you didn't comment, but people are looking. So it's
Yeah.
important to do that stuff. That's great. That's great. Any more wins for Raquel winning over there?
I mean, right now I'm with the National Student Leadership Conference. I've been with them. This is year 3 for me, and it's a really great opportunity. It helps me when it comes to speaking and connecting with students, and hopefully I'll be able to create some speaking opportunities from this based on my work with the students, because a lot of the students hold leadership positions at their school in like student government, etc. So hoping to, get something going from that.
Awesome. Now, is that something that you volunteer for, or what is that?
No, I'm paid to do it during the summertime. It's a summer program, and there's several programs out there like that. It's like pre-college programs, and most of them have some component where they're looking for a facilitator or someone who's not just a traditional speaker but can engage their students and add value to their program.
That's dope. And you said you've been doing that for three, this is the 3rd summer?
Yes.
How did you find out about it initially?
Through a Google search, and then I have a friend who's in it. We just became friends kind of in the speaking industry, and just connected the dots through there.
That's dope. Collaboration.
Yeah.
I just listened to a podcast today. A speaker was talking about how he does not look at other speakers as competition. And a lot of speakers, when you come into this space, because of the way we are conditioned, because of the way we think that, oh, it's got to be competition. I got to get this speech before Gio gets it, or I got to get this speech before Tyler gets it. I got to get this speech before Raquel gets up all the speeches. And you'll hear me joke every now and again, like, "Oh, save some speeches for me." But it's just tongue in cheek, because it's really, really, there's too many opportunities out there for 100 people. It's too many. So if you get to do something this year that I don't, that means that there's a speaking opportunity. So that's what I want us to do, and that's why I wanted us to really start sharing what we're going through. So Raquel, I appreciate that. Gio, you were on. I saw Tyler come on. But Gio, what wins you got, man? What wins? I hear you out there working, man. What you got?
I did a campaign recently, some small test just to test it out, and got like a college that was interested. They liked the presentation for the leadership. Felt like it was something that their students needed. They're on vacation now for a week, so I'm waiting for that response back. But she was definitely saying like, I want to know what's your availability. Here's the specific dates that I'm looking to book for. So it was already in the angle of like, the serious interest, right? Like, I checked out your stuff already. I like it. I think it'll be great. So I'm looking to follow up specifically with that one. And then I had another one that I had kind of like posted in one of the groups that you and I are in, and talked about the idea of a school saying, "I do like you, but I just can't, and I want to bring you in. We just don't have that budget." to bring you in because of the budget that we have. And so working uniquely around that to figure out how do I position it, or how do I go and get maybe, like you said, different departments to come on board, or are there other ways to leverage that? Yes, despite it not being the number that you want financially, but it might be like an introduction to other colleges in the area to be able to go and kind of make that work so that the trip up north will still yield the same amount of money for like a day or two of going up there.
Yeah, for sure. That's good, man. That's good. And Gio, that's one of the many things, and I was talking one-on-one today about like stuff I did really early on that I still do. And one of them is piggybacking on those opportunities, because even if they can't pay you anything, like you said, the fact that they were interested, you can leverage that, and you can say, hey, you could do the event, or you could say, well, I'm not going to do it, but hey, school that was next to it had something going on. Would you be willing to help out because of X, Y, Z? And it just opens up the conversation. And one of my key stories that I tell when I speak is a story about this girl I had a crush on at high school. And I asked her what she was listening to. She was listening to Biggie Smalls' album, Ready to Die. And I wasn't keen or smart enough to pick up on the fact that she liked me. But she asked me if I wanted to borrow her CD. And so she gave me her CD, but I knew enough to know that her giving me the CD was basically saying, hey, we can continue this conversation, because in order for me to give her a CD back, like, we got to talk. And so for somebody to open up and say, hey, Gio, saw your stuff, I liked your stuff, that's validation that your stuff is good. Your stuff is good enough to get paid. They might not have the money. That's okay. Somebody else might have the money, or it might just be a missed opportunity this time. But I would suggest that everybody kind of get a number in your head. If you don't already, I'm sure many of you do, but get a number in your head of what's like your walk away fee. Like, what's your walk away for the time, for the travel? And if if you can drive to it, if you can get a cheap flight or something, and you can come home and you can show your spouse, or you can show your significant other, hey, I got $1,000 after I pay for everything, or I got $1,500 or whatever it is. Like, be flexible, because that, don't go broke giving away speeches, but be flexible and let people know that you're flexible. So that's a big win, Gio. That's big, man. You got any more?
No, not anymore. I mean, I think, yeah, I don't know if we talk about this at a different time, about just like different opportunities that I do see like down the line trying to pursue as a result of new information that I wasn't privy to before.
Cool. Got it. Appreciate you. Tyler, man, what's going on? I know you got some stuff coming up. You got any recent wins?
Man, what's going on, man? So just like I got a couple, like a small win, a little bigger win too. So obviously, from a small win perspective, I'm excited to get my website up. I appreciate you taking a quick look at it. That should be being finalized really within the next week and a half. And then also too, along lines of like speaking. So on September 14th, and I know Odell, but for the rest of the group, on September 14th here in Charlotte, a friend of mine is kind of over PMI. So PMI is the Project Management Institute, and they do a thing every year where they kind of pay a little money, bring people in. They have a couple keynote speakers as well as some different workshops and stuff. So I participated last year, just kind of helping them out, and so I dropped a little bug in his ear, just basically saying, hey, like, I like to help in a larger capacity. So like this year I'll be doing a little workshop. So obviously it's unpaid, but I mean, it's here in Charlotte. So it's literally just, 10, 15 minute drive away. But give me an opportunity for some exposure. They'll be recording it, putting it on, their website and different things of that nature. So like, I'm hoping that potentially could turn into maybe a keynote space next year, this same group. And also too, I'm in the process of locking something down with like my university too, by way of like a keynote speak. So
That's dope, man. That's dope. That's dope. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Gotta share the wins, y'all. Gotta share the wins. The wins are big. The wins are big. Even it doesn't matter at what level you get. Like I tell you all, we're running the same race as far as getting speeches, and so any win is a good win. And so we talked about the wins. I'll share a win. I got books. So this is the importance of books. I sold 50 books today to a client that I'm speaking to in a couple of weeks. We had our pre-event call, and I asked if I could sell books because there are going to be some parents at the event. It's a trio awards banquet thing, which FYI, insert that. There's a market there. Now the money there isn't great. Like this one, I'm only getting paid $2,000, but they're buying 50 books. So it kind of makes it up. But I said, like a lot of these trio programs have summer programs, and then they have, banquets at the end where they bring the parents in and stuff like that. Try to find out which programs do that. If you could just get a list of 50 or 100, maybe you can target them for next year. Look at Instagram, look at pay attention, screenshot all these different people, because again, we're looking for opportunities. That's what we're looking for. And so that's a win that I had, 50 books. It's not a whole lot of money, but it's a nice little chunk. It'll take care of some stuff. Another win, this is the third year in a row, I got hired to go to orientation at the University of Wisconsin. I'm here in Minnesota right now, but it was just funny that they reached back out to me when I'm like near Milwaukee. So that's fun. But yeah, just orientations are big. It's a huge crowd. I don't like particularly speaking and this is gonna sound weird, but I sweat so much, y'all. Like y'all don't understand my life. Y'all don't understand what I be going through. And the place that they have me speaking is an old gym with no air conditioning. And they pack 2,000 kids in that gym. It be hot. Man, I be sweating. Like I sweat so hard. And so but I'm excited to go back. I'm excited I got invited back for a third straight year. So those are some wins there. Challenges. Let's talk about challenges. And again, this is the call that we're doing encouragement. If we have time, I'll go through a little bit of strategy, a little bit of processes. But next week, we're going to be having another guest. A good friend of mine, Stan Pearson, is going to be on. He's going to be talking about how he prepares for his speeches. Stan is really, really great. So we're going to be having him on next week to talk strategy, how you prepare for your speech, how you knock it out the park, how you add humor to your speech, because he is one of those people that makes things really funny. He's almost as funny as me, like almost, not quite as funny as me, but he's close. So I'm excited to have Stan on next week. But what challenges, y'all? And see, Raquel, Gio, and Tyler, y'all are like my dream team, because y'all are here the most. Y'all are the most consistent. So I talk to y'all. I know what struggles and stuff y'all are going through. So you might be like, Odell, I just emailed you the other day. I just talked to you the other day. But let each other know. That's the importance of the mastermind, and not just for you all on here live, but for the people that will listen later, that'll listen to the recording, and also for people, a year from now that might listen to this. So it's really good to get those challenges, get those struggles out there. Who wants to go first? This is your time to vent. This is your time to talk to people that understand your struggle, and then we'll offer some solutions to help you out. What you got?
Hey, so this is Tyler real quick. I can go first.
Go ahead.
So I wouldn't even say like what I got right now is like a challenge, but since we have this eclectic group of like, masterminds on the call right now, one of the things I'm looking at doing for my workshop, I have obviously, got the material that content I'll be speaking to, but I want to give out and have like, this will be my first workshop. So it's like, I have like little branding stuff. So whether it's like they all come into the room and like I have like a notepad and a pen, what I mean, that's customized on my website, my logo, all the different type of stuff, which is cool. And then that way they can too write down notes, right? But I'm also wanting to know like some cool kind of like, I mean, everybody does notepads and pens. I mean, I feel like you kind of need that, but what else could I give or give out or like make what I'm doing memorable? Is what I'm trying to figure out, other than just like delivering a good message.
That's a great question. And I know Raquel and Gio have some solutions. So what's up? What y'all got for Tyler? Help Tyler out.
Tyler, recently I created these little pins. I can look up the website and send it to you, but you can order them in various sizes. And you can, I went to Fiverr first and I hired someone to create like the design for me. So you can create like a specific message that you want and have it placed onto the pin, and then they'll ship it out to you and you can hand out those pins. And then students, encourage them to put it like on their book bag or keep it somewhere that they're always going to see it. So it can be a reminder of, whatever you want them to remember, focus on, etc.
Pins. So when you're saying pins, you're like the things that like.
Yeah, the little circular ones that, you can put on your shirt or wherever.
Cool.
Got you. Okay.
Gio, what you got, man? We first met at a conference, and I know you got spin-off bookings from that, man. What'd you do?
I mean, I did the like give away a PDF version of my book. That's what I did in that one, and that got a lot of people to at least submit their information.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say this, like I think collecting info from your attendees in some regard is very helpful, because a lot of times you don't get to hear the positive feedback immediately. Sometimes, like depending on what the program is, people might have to like, oh, we had to run away, or not run away, but like I had to leave the session right away to go to something else, or the schedule's very tight. And getting someone's email or social media gives you an opportunity to be able to get future social media, credibility stuff, like social proof, I should say. So a lot of times I'm gonna say, okay, hey, yo, let's take a picture real quick. And I think that's what I'll tell you, Tyler, like take pictures with people. They're not gonna say no. So that's one of the cool things. They kind of were like, yo, anytime you take a phone and put it in front of their face with one kid, two other students or whatever or whoever are jealous that they weren't in it, and they just jump into it. And then I tell them I'm gonna tag them, and then they often tell you, like, because they think you're cool now, yo, that session was fire, and I can go and say, well, what was so fire about it? And then it shows that there was some type of retention from what actually took place. And the client they don't always see that, but when I get the receipts and could say, hey, thank you so much for bringing me on board, I can't wait to do it again. One of my highlights from this event is the fact that, this is what Odell said after my session. That goes very well. And matter of fact, when you saw me at that conference that we were at in the NODA, I took a picture with a girl named Ebony and tagged her in it or whatever. And Ebony was the one that went to her orientation person and said, we have to get you to come in, right? Like that was the only person I took a picture with. And that was the only person that went dumb hard to tell the orientation director, you got to bring in this guy. I saw him, we took a picture, and we still like to this day still have like a connection as a result of it.
That's great advice. And Tyler, Gio specifically says students, but adults are the same way, man. Like yesterday, I did a diversity training, like diversity. We were talking about, I was in Lily White, Indiana, talking about diversity, telling them how my black family be talking about white people at holidays. And I got, like, people wanted to take pictures, and the lady was like, please send me the picture that we took. And then the day before, I was working with their students. So if it's adults, as long as you do your thing and you do a good job, like Gio said, you get one or two people that does that. Because here's the thing, y'all. Speaking has so many moving parts. Most people, not all, that are going to be volunteering at conferences to speak are so into, I've got to make this speech right. I've got to make this speech right. They're not talking about the marketing piece. So Tyler, all that stuff that Raquel said and the tips that Gio had, I co-sign 1,000%, especially on the pictures, man. Like, a picture is worth 1,000 words. You could pick somebody that was low-key sleeping, but you put the phone in their face, like Gio said, they're going to smile, they're going to perk up, and they're not going to be like, oh, my gosh, it was terrible. Oh, my gosh, it was horrible. They're not going to be like that. So that's a good one. That's a good one. Good job. Gio, Raquel, what's up? What are some challenges? What are some challenges?
I'll go next. Some of my challenges include the following. Number one.
Hold on.
Number one, which we've spoke about before, Odell, the list, collecting email addresses, updating email addresses, sending out campaigns. Sometimes it's a little overwhelming, and I think I might avoid it sometimes because it's so overwhelming. And trying to balance everything, because like in this business, you have to work on yourself personally. So whether that's physical, going to the gym, listening to motivational stuff, reading stuff, and just really, learning and growing yourself. And then there's the component of, getting ready for the next speech that's coming up. And then there's trying to connect with the next client via email, et cetera, et cetera. So, so sometimes that's a little overwhelming. And I guess that's just what I wanted to share. So those lists drive me crazy, and just trying to balance everything and not focus on one thing for too long and then forget to focus on the other. And kind of, I really just want to grow to be like a better speaker. So kind of still having like doubt that, even when people say, oh, it was good and it turned out great or whatever, it's still like, I could have done better, et cetera. So yeah, that's my list.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing. And what we're going to do after everybody shares their challenges, we're going to offer solutions. So thank you, Raquel. And I'm also going to show you all the mania behind the list. I'm going to show y'all my list, and we'll show y'all what I do when I send an email campaign out and all that stuff. I will do that. Yes, the list, definitely. Gio, what you got? What challenges you got?
I think it is centered around the list. I think as well. I just think for me it's just increasing the response rate of it. One of the challenges, although this specifically is, and I wanted to see if anybody had any suggestions, would be I had someone who sent me an email and said, we don't have a budget for a national speaker.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, I'm like, but you don't even know how much I would have done it for. Like I would have took, depending on where you are sometimes. And I think sometimes that becomes a challenge too, is like when you see the bio and they're like, well, because I put international speaker because I spoke in one other country, right? Like, but it's still like, I spoke in Bermuda, and they'll read that and it's like, oh no, like we can't do it. And so my challenge is, I started to almost feel like I don't even want to say that part because they just immediately reject, like they don't even like engage. And I'm like, I'm not looking to repel people like who could book me and have them automatically say, well, we can't bring this guy in because he's a national speaker. And I don't even think sometimes like, my website might look a little bit too okay.
Right.
That somebody might also say like, oh no, like this person look like they actually know what they're doing. And I'm like, but that's not what you want, is somebody who knows what they're doing. So like, it's kind of like a struggle where you almost feel like, kind of like when you were like people back in the days when they're in school and they're like, I don't want to be the smart kid in the class, so I'm just going to act dumb so I can be a part of the class versus standing out. And so that's a challenge, is like trying to figure out what are ways to overcome that aspect of it where you still could own your brand, but also how do you strategically say I am still available without dumbing down or devaluing yourself?
I like that. And that's a real one, by the way, especially when you reach out to the smaller schools and the schools with smaller budgets and stuff like that. That's definitely a challenge. And what's exciting, y'all, is that next week I'm going to be sharing with you all 3 interviews that I did with higher ed pros. And I'm doing more interviews. And I would suggest, honestly, that you all try to do that too. It's something that I never thought about. Like sometimes you never think about this stuff, but I've been in the game for over a decade. And I could have started this early on, just asking people that will book me or that have booked me, hey, could I sit down with you? I'm working on something. I'm doing some research. I'd love to get your opinion. However you term it, I just tell them what's up because I just had that relationship. I say, hey, I have speakers that I train and I'm trying to do my job better. Would you sit down and just chat with me for about an hour and go over these questions that I have? So that's something to ask, but that part of that is covered in the interview, Gio. So I'll share with you some of those solutions for that. I saw we got Garrett on. Garrett, you got any challenges? I know we talked earlier today, man, but you got the mastermind with you. So any challenges you share, it might help them as well, and we can get a little group thing going. If not, that's cool. That's cool. But here's what I'm gonna do. Oh, Garrett, you got something?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I was muted. Yeah, so challenges. What I've been dealing with is reaching out to people, and I've been getting a lot of, we're good this year. Simply we don't hire speakers for orientation. And when I get that, I was going over this with you earlier. I think this is an opportunity for me to maybe change up my approach a little bit and maybe be more open as far as, do you hire speakers in general for events? And then also, like you were mentioning earlier, make sure I am sending out and targeting my emails appropriately during the appropriate times of year. So if it's orientation season, then great, sending out those emails. Hey, do you hire speakers for orientation? Or if it's welcome week, or if it's, if it's Black History Month, or if it's that time of year, hey, do you hire speakers for this? I think that's another opportunity as far as, getting people to, to reply back and to engage with me based on what exactly I'm looking for.
Got it. Yeah.
Other changes. But yeah, I was just telling you earlier, I've just got a lot of, autoresponders, but I think just based on the time of year it is. And people saying, we don't got the money for you.
Got it. I love 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 it. I'm going to go over these. We got about 20 minutes left. So I'm going to share my screen, and I want to kind of show you also, Raquel brought up the list. Collecting and updating the list is a pain in the, you know what, like it really is. It can be cumbersome, but the two ways that I approach marketing are I do cold outreach and conferences, cold and conferences. So that's my strategy. That's all I do. And cold outreach could be emails, it could be social media, it could be, I don't do calls unless I'm going to the area and I feel like there's a possibility I could get somebody on the phone, but I don't do a lot of calls for schools, just out of the blue cold calls. But I would say the lists they're just a necessary evil right now. And I'll also go into autoresponders. Garrett talked about that. And Gio also talked about the no budget. So I am going to share my screen. And then after that, I'm going to just go into talking about some of the stuff. So let's do it. So first, Tyler, I wanted to show this because Tyler mentioned some things you can do. I just started trying to do this summer. Having a QR code, to whereas, most people can hold up their phones and they can take a picture of the QR code, and then you can send the QR code to a website or something that you have. Gio mentioned like a PDF or something like that. I just went to this website, qrcodegenerator.com. That's the website I went to. And it's very, very simple. So you create your QR code for free. You can send it to a URL. You can send it to, a V card. So like you can put something like that maybe on a business card. So these are the different things it'll go to, like a PDF. It might display a PDF or whatever, MP3, whatever. So I think that's something maybe you could do if somebody says, oh, I want to get your card, and maybe they don't have a card to exchange. Maybe it's a way that you can use that. But that's just a strategy you can use at conferences, because conferences is all about getting people's information as best as you can. So get their information any way you can, get them to engage with you. That's a big one. I wanted to show that. So I'm going to open up my emails. I have 2 emails that I run campaigns on. I have my assistant's email here, and then I have my personal email here. So here's what I want to show you. I just ran a campaign today. Gear Up Week speaker. I know y'all talking about them auto replies. It seems like everybody on vacation, right? All the time at different times. Ugh. It's like, don't y'all ever be in the office working? Anyway, but that's how it happens. Then you have these bad emails right here. As you can see, I'm just opening this up for y'all. So this person, and here's what I do with these bad emails. I move them to remove from list. Remove from list. All right. Automatic. I'll go through those at different times just to see. Spring Leadership Conference information. Here we go. This is my first time looking at this email, so y'all are seeing it at the same time I am. Good morning. We don't have a major conference. However, we plan 3 events a year, which include Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Day, Unity Through Diversity. During these events, we have various speakers. This is the first time I'm seeing this. So Highline College, which I think is in Washington State, I think. Would this be something that may work with your group? Absolutely. Now, I will reply to this email. I will keep it in my inbox. Beatrice Betty Vera. And I want you to see this. When I sent this email, I did not have her name. I just had multicultural department straight up because I didn't know. But she replied, Betty, boom. And I was reaching out for spring conference stuff. So that's a good lead. This is another bad email. So we're going to send this to remove from list. This is another one. See, hello, thank you for your email. Unfortunately, HLI, Husky Leadership Initiative, is not offering that leadership conference currently, but we'll keep you in mind if we offer it in the future. So this is a list on leadership conference. It's not on there, but they said they will keep you in mind if we offer it in the future. So this is what I would do for this email. I will say this. And who is this person? Fran. Hi, Fran. Thanks for your reply. We'd love to stay in touch and send your students success tips that connect to leadership from time to time. And I'll go back and I'll explain this a little more. They're just 90-second videos, give or take, that Odell sends about 3 to 4 times a semester. Would that be okay? And that's it. So what I'm doing here, and again, I'm sending this email, and I told you all, like Sierra Robinson, that's my wife's maiden name. All right? So she's sending this, not me, but I'm sending it, right? So would that be okay? You end with a question, that's it. Now, maybe she replies, maybe she doesn't, but I'm sending this to people to add to Warm Nurture, just in case she says yes. And if she comes back and says no, then that's good. Now, all of these are automatic replies. And so what I'll say about, and let me show you how this looks. So all of these remove from list. Look at all these emails I have to remove, either because they said leave me alone. See, here's some of these emails. Please remove me from your distribution list. See? All right, please remove me. Let's see. Bad emails, no longer work here, bad emails. Let me see if I can get some angry emails that they've sent me. Okay, it's not an ugly email. Hello there. Unfortunately, we do not have funds to pay motivational speakers. Sounds amazing though. And I see that this is a trio person. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna table this one. This is a trio person in California. I've done work with trio in California. Jennifer said, sounds amazing though. I'm gonna add her to Warm Nurture. Just because she said, sounds amazing, we don't have money. And so for those of you that are asking, like, what do I do? All you want is permission to keep talking to them. If it's not like this, please remove blah, blah, blah from your list. Thank you. Like she said, leave me alone. This is Harvard too. Oh, Harvard. But I'm showing you all of this to show that we want to get people to give us a response, as quick as possible. And I know Garrett asked this earlier, and that's why I'm going to show this before we move on. Garrett asked about the sending, like the number of people that open, the open rates. So this is important right here. You got the open rates. I sent 144 emails, 133 emails rather. 44% open, 17% click, 9% reply. Then we got a lot of bounces though, so we got to figure that out. We got to figure those bounces out. But yeah, so just this is Yesware. So if you're not using Yesware, this version of it, but you can just look and see. Okay, half the people open this, 35% people, 44%. Okay, cool. People opening it. And so I can see which emails people open the most of. 65% open this. Okay, so we can go back and do some of the same stuff. You can just kind of filter it out and see with Yesware, another thing that I like is that you can only send like maybe 200. They say 200. I try to keep it kind of below 150, just because, the spam police will get you above that. But yeah, and I also covered autoresponders. Just keep sending emails. No budget. You look too good. Geo, that's a good one, man. Like, that's a really good one. When you look too good, like the email that I sent you, make it super, super short. And so let's see if I can pull this up. Let's see here. This is my first email in this. I'm just looking for people. I hope this email reaches you well and you're doing well. You're looking for a powerful, dynamic speaker for upcoming school year to speak to your students. If so, I'd love for you to check out Mr. Odell Bazell. He's fun, impactful, and relatable to first-generation students. See why he's been hired over 200 colleges and programs like yours. That's it. Like, so that, let's count those sentences. 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences, a link, and then a question. So just keep it simple, Gio. I know you got like a super bio, like you got a lot going on there because you're that guy, but just keep it simple initially. And I think that'll kind of give them more. They'll be like, oh, okay, well, maybe I can, maybe I can check this guy out, or maybe I can't. But you're going to be too expensive for some people, and that's okay. So don't worry about that. And then I want to cover what Raquel said about balancing life. Man, oh man. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I think you just have to find the things that you do that are the most critical and urgent for your business. Figure that out, and then make sure that you do that. And then everything else, like, I know practicing your speech is important. Rehearse. I'm in another mastermind with the National Speakers Association, and they brought a Hall of Fame speaker on there, and she said, rehearse. She said, rehearse. It was really cool. She got to critique my speech, a part of my speech, not the whole speech, but that was pretty cool to hear a Hall of Fame speaker say that, oh, wow, you're pretty good. Here's one thing you can work on. Here's 2 things you can work on. But rehearse. Rehearse is the big thing that she said. Treat it like a play. Treat your speech like a play. Like, know your slides like the back of your hand. So if you don't have a confidence monitor in front of you where you can see your slides, you can know. Slide 1, boom, I'm going in there. Slide 2, but you have to continually rehearse. You have to continually rehearse and try different things. She suggests writing out your entire speech. If you don't want to do that, I would suggest record yourself. Use an app called Otter. It's called Otter. And I don't know if y'all will be able to see it. But it's Otter. That's what it looks like. Otter. And you can connect your microphone to your phone, or you can just lay the phone near a speaker, and Otter will pick up your transcription, and you can download that. You can read your speech. You can read your speech, and you can see, oh, why did I say that, or where was I going? And so if you want to improve your stage time, your stage presence, do that. I think that's a huge thing that I'm going to start doing, because I've got to get better from the stage too, as we all do. But playing back, going over that game film, right? Going over that game film will really, really help. As we're winding down, did anybody have any more solutions? We covered the list, collecting and updating. I just went over a little bit balancing life. I don't know how to do that. I'm one of those intense people that doesn't sleep much and that gets everything done eventually. But that's just how I am. So if you have any tips for helping Raquel or anybody watching or listening balance life, please go at it.
I was thinking, like, when it came to like the emails, I had an issue also with like even sending the emails. So like, I know that being a part of this mastermind, what's so cool is having the list, which is just almost like potential outreach because I didn't send nothing. But I realized like when you don't actually allocate a specific time just only for that part, it's super hard to do. And so when you've never done something or you don't do it often, it always seems like it takes longer than what it actually takes if I scheduled it or said it was just a specific time. So when I said, you know what, today is outreach day, it only took an hour to go and like set up the campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was looking at it from the outside, I thought it would take the whole day because I just, because I'm so divided, right? Like there's so many things that's calling for my attention. So I think going and scheduling it and say, okay, well, it's not something something you need to think about every day, but thinking about which day it is. And I know I heard this theory from Jack Dorsey, who created Twitter. And he was the CEO of Twitter and the CEO of Square, the app that you use to like swipe your card and make money. And he divided his days based on themes. So he would say like Monday is marketing Mondays. And I know Frank Kitchen had mentioned that also in one of the other masterminds, like kind of thinking about which day is what. So I would almost say, if in terms of with Raquel, like that's something that I was struggling with as well. And she knows that too, because I shared it with her. Like she was like, outreach. And I'm like, I know. But I kept thinking it was such a big monster to climb. And when I decided to just dedicate only an hour to just for it, and what you'll realize is I actually set a timer on my computer for the hour. And what I would realize is after I was committed to the hour, I would get so close to finishing that I didn't care how much longer it took to make sure I actually completed it. It's the start that's really stopping us oftentimes from doing that part. So that's one of the strategies that got me off the frozen spot to getting to a place where I was able to send an email campaign out. So I would dedicate just an hour and time it, because when the alarm goes off, you do not have to feel guilty because that was the commitment you made, was the hour. And then you'll be surprised, like when you start seeing yourself get some momentum, you just can't help but want to go and cross the finish line.
I like that. I also like what you said. It's the start that's often stopping us. I like that. That's good. That's good. I like that. Any other thoughts, questions, comments, concerns? Like I said, next week, just to give everybody a heads up, I know we're gonna have some Globetrotters that won't be here, but I got my main man Stan Pearson coming on. Tyler, I think that would be a great call for you to be on. Stan's gonna be talking about how he prepares his speeches. And you can ask Stan anything. Stan is an open book. Stan he's my OG. He was one of the first speakers that I sought out when I first started. So he's doing his thing, and so ask him anything. He's giving up his time. So take advantage of it because his time is not cheap. So please, y'all come. Y'all come. I know Raquel's going to be somewhere doing something. I know Gio's going to be doing something. So anybody, get on if you can, even if it's just for a little bit, just to show some love. But also, any questions that you have, let me know. Any people that you know that are interested, kind of start steering them this way, because there's going to be some changes with the mastermind, not with y'all. Y'all are like the founding members. Y'all are good. Y'all are solid. But there are going to be some changes, some shifts, some things that we're doing to kind of accommodate for more people next time we open up. I think we're opening up in September. I have to look at my calendar. But any other questions, comments?
I know, like I think like there's like a struggle of, I know I'm not the person who's never spoken before, but I also know I'm not the person who has 300 colleges or whatever under my belt. So when I say like, there's some people who cannot afford you, how do I, like, I'm still like, okay, like, yeah, they can't afford me, but like, there are some engagement where, like, ideally I want to get $2,500 or $3,000 overall, all inclusive. But there's a lot of opportunities where smaller schools might say, we would love to have a person from this part of the country come and speak, but we know we can't afford you. And what if I was willing, like, how do I go and convey that I am willing and I might be more affordable than you think? Because in the season I'm in, I'm looking more for opportunity, relationships, brand building out that list of being able to say 200 colleges, right? Like, so in order to be able to get 200 yeses at whatever value, I'm looking from a long-term perspective is super powerful. Like, even like that line you said in your email, I was like, that's like a great, resume builder. Like, would you like to see why 200 colleges, whatever, said something? Or there's a guy named Julian Gordon, who one time I had a friend of mine who was in student affairs, and she asked her, like, why did you hire Julian Gordon? She said, I didn't even see him speak before. But when I went to his website, I saw 150 colleges listed. And I was like, well, they can't all be wrong.
Right.
So I want to be able to build that portfolio out. So, like, how do I go about doing that with, and I know, like, like, hey, even to the point where I'm like, if I could just not lose money, I'd go. Right? You tell me I got $500. I'm like, okay, well, if I come home with $50 is not something to write home. I'm not going to build a business off that alone. But again, it's still more than zero. And I get to build that pool of social proof later on.
Got it. Well, look, I would say, man, you just convey that sentiment. And, just like a real teacher's getting people on the phone, like, that's one of the best things that you can do, and just convey it and say, these are goals I have. Like, I'm speaking in Delaware in a couple of weeks, and I took like $2,000 because she was like, oh my gosh, like, we love to have you. How much do you cost? And I was on the phone with her, and she's like, you're not $5,000, are you? I was like, nah, but I'm close. And she was like, oh my gosh, well, I don't know if we can afford you. And I was like, well, look, I said, I'll be honest with you. Like, I have a goal. I want to speak in all 50 states. I haven't spoken in Delaware. I'd be willing to work with you. This is my business. This is what I do. As long as, and I will say this verbatim, as long as I can bring a certain amount of money home that my wife won't be mad at me for being gone for, we can work it out. And then they usually start laughing. And so that, like, look, man, you just tell them, like, in a very eloquent way, of course, but you say, this is a goal I have. I want to, and you could like literally just say, my goal is I want to speak to 100 colleges in the next calendar year because this message means that much to me and whatever. And if we can work it out, I'll be flexible. This is the number that I would like to get. How close is that to what you have? And then you just let it sit. And that's one thing that, I think, because there's another human being on the other side of that line, they'll be like, okay, well, look, Gio, all I got is 1,500, bro. Like, that's it. That's the most that I can do. And then if you're like, well, shoot, we can get 1,500 to work, I'll be willing to do that, and then just make it happen. I think just being honest and conveying that sentiment to them, like what you want to do, like what your goals are and why. I think if you put the why behind it, and you put the why as more than money, like just like you just said, you were like, look, I'm just trying to build my brand. I'm just trying to do this. I'm just trying to do this, just let them know. And again, that's a human being, probably around your age, man, like sub 10 or plus 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're probably going to be around your age. So they're going to understand what you're saying. I just say, try to get them on the phone. If you can't get them on the phone, put that in an email as best as you can and say, look, this is a number I like to start with. However, I understand in your position, So this is the number I like to start with. How close is this number to what you have? ? And then that's it.
Got it. That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. And I think I'm going to go explore a little bit.